amount of cognitive dissonance in this episode will make your head spin. So remember, he posted a new episode on his Patreon recently. I did the first half.
This was months ago, right?
No, this is this month. This is just last week. And I reviewed the first half of it, and I was like, I got to save the rest for later. I'm glad I did. So when we last left off, he was talking about the collab he was doing with that other singer, and they were doing those metal songs. And then he's got a sweet transition into the next part of his show.
But on to the next stuff, guys. We got more things. Let's keep going. This is Pukewater. Thanks for hanging out. Okay, so next up.
What a professional.
I thought it was quaint.
You know, a little stinger in there and everything. It's pretty good stuff. So now he's going to start doing some podcast promo for, he's been doing this show called Don't Leave It to the Judges with this guy Sam for, I think, years now. And I don't care about UFC, and I don't care what they think about it, so I never checked it out. But he's been pushing this a lot.
But at the end of the day, we're coming in with straight up facts. 100% facts. And that includes the new fighters. It's just a fun listen. I'm also funny over there, just like I am here. You get it? Ha.
I've never heard him really try to sell himself so much. It's great. We know stuff. I'm funny. You got to check it out. It's really amazing. He really wants that show to take off.
You think he doesn't sell himself?
No, oftentimes he talks about how he doesn't want to be podcasting. He doesn't like it. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. He doesn't have anything to talk about. He's not interested. I know, he goes back and forth. It's hard to keep up with what kind of mood he's in from show to show, or even within the show. But they're going to start doing a new show.
But there's a new show, everybody.
Whoa. A new show.
And believe me, I know you're as very excited as me is. Huh? No, I do believe you'll probably be as excited as me.
Okay. Well, I bet I could be as excited as Patrick Michael. I'd be willing to bet I could pull that off.
I'd take that bet.
Yep. He doesn't get too excited about things very often. So Sam, the co-host of Don't Leave It to the Judges, has some great recommendations. What happens is, before they record that show every week, they get on and just do some chit-chat, some small talk. Mm-hmm. And Sam gives them an update on what he's been checking out, what he's enjoying.
And always got great recommendations, and he's always talking about, he's like telling me these crazy stories about podcasts that I should check out. Sadly enough, I never do. Sorry, Sam. I like what I like at this point, and I think that's my problem, is I'm stuck in this cipher of, stuff I've always enjoyed and decided never to change that. But it's no different than a guy who, fell in love with WWE when he was 10, but he's still obsessed with it.
Yeah, those people are losers. Yeah. That's not great. It's kind of sad and pathetic if you still like WWE as much as you did when you were... The other thing that he said in there, he goes, Sam has some great recommendations for shows and podcasts. I've never checked any of them out. Well, then how do you know they're great? Maybe they're all terrible now if you've never looked into it. But either way, there's a brand new show that's coming, and I want to know about the show format.
They would have to be released to the public. The public deserved to hear them. They started to get more cohesive. It almost became a routine, where every Wednesday we were coming in the fucking, the little Zoom studio and, yelling stuff at each other's face about, what's going on in our day and our city and the things we're doing and the things we're watching and the stuff we're listening to. So we put together a decent show, and it took us a minute to come up with what we wanted to really do. They're only 20, 25-minute long episodes. It's a straight-up cold open. Like, we don't have any introduction music, no nothing. There's no fanciness at the beginning. It just goes right into us checking the mics and then talking, okay?
I'm excited about this.
The banter cast with Paddy Pukewater?
Yes, because if they're talking about their week, their day, what they've been up to, I don't want to hear Paddy talk about the stand-up show he saw and whether he liked it or not. I don't care about that. I want to hear about the trip to the Dollar General.
Yeah.
I want to hear about doing laundry that week. Like, all of the things that I'm fascinated by to know more about. I'm hoping that's what we're going to get into on this new show. The other thing that I want to hear more about is the family dynamics.
Keep it simple, stupid, right? All right. That's what my dad used to say. Just kidding. He wasn't around. Sad.
He was fine with it.
Yeah. He made the right decision.
Yeah. He didn't miss much.
Right.
Seamus, whatever the fuck it be called. So this new show, where can anyone find it, or can they?
I am so glad you asked, because he's finally going to tell us what the name of the show is.
But it is called The Skull and the Samurai. Obviously, Paddy Brokenskull, Samurai from Don't Leave It to the Judges. We started a show and sort of in a mocking way of the fighter and the kid. It's like the fighter and the kid, the skull, the samurai, the champ and the tramp.
Okay, of course it's named after one of those stupid shows that he loves so much. You know, it's kind of like the fighter and the kid. Yeah, we're all over that.
We need more of those.
Everyone's over that format. But okay, the skull and the samurai. And you, of course, asked, where can I find that? Well, I'm not sure, but I do have some good news for you guys.
I decided to start an Instagram for the Pukewater podcast.
Nice.
Okay. It's completely open to the public right now. It's available. Nobody's blocked. None of that shit.
So far.
The only reason I made it is because I know for sure now, more than ever, how important a clip is.
Okay. Well, I don't know if a clip is really that important, but okay.
Found it.
Yeah, here it is right here, Vinny. I got it up on the screen. Pukewater Podcast, 29 following this so far. There are 3 total posts.
30 now.
30. All right. Very good. Yeah. 3 posts on here total. And 2 of them are Pukewater clips. And one of them is this promotion that we're listening to right now for The Skull and the Samurai, this new podcast that he's putting out. So I don't know if I would have promoted my Instagram with just this content on here so far, but whatever. I'm sure he'll abandon it in a couple weeks and never look at it again, because as soon as people discover it, he'll get scared and run away. Now, you asked where I can find the podcast, and he says it's available wherever you find podcasts, and I cannot find it. I looked all over for it. The Skull and the Samurai. So if somebody knows where that is, I'd be interested to hear about it.
It's behind 3 paywalls.
Probably. No, he says it's free. He keeps saying that it's actually free and you're going to love it. He starts talking about all the different eras he's gone through in his podcasting history.
You mean errors?
Right.
But speaking of fucking with your channel, I got one of the biggest like cease and desist type of deals in my podcast career. And that includes the, all the stuff, as well as, the Wooshka era. And what else?
What else?
The guy who killed his girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
Moment.
Remember that? Okay.
Biggest moment in my Patreon. And then there's, what was the other one? Guy who kills. I've had a couple different eras, man.
Yeah.
But,
he doesn't even know his history on this stuff. I'm glad, because I get confused too. There's been so many shows, so many changes over the years. I'm glad I'm not the only one who can't keep up with all of this.
Bringing up Matt Lewinsky real quick. Creep off 1 o'clock on Monday. Podcast Hitman update coming your way.
Yes.
I got some info.
Excellent. I also got the link to contact him in my email.
Oh.
So
can you just call and be like, hey, could you put Patrick on the phone or Matthew on the phone?
Matthew, yeah, we definitely need to do that.
I think podcast Hitman, you got to call.
Yeah, I think I do want to do a video show with him.
I keep messing it up. Patrick Lewinsky is Cardiff. I keep messing it up.
Right. All right. So what happened, what he's alluding to here with the cease and desist, is that he changed his Patreon recently and put a new logo on it. And the logo looks like PBS, Public Broadcasting Service, but he tweaked it a little bit. So PBS did not like this logo.
And it wasn't even the original logo of theirs. It was a variation of it, absolutely. But I also edited it myself, changed some things about it. I put a crack in the head, so PBS, Paddy Brokenskull. It just made perfect sense.
Brilliant. I can't believe they wouldn't let you get away with using their logo. That's crazy. So he got a notification from Patreon saying you got to take this down everywhere you're using it. You got to replace it, or else PBS is, saying that they can bring legal action.
And you will lose all 9 of your patrons.
Mm-hmm. Right. And what I couldn't believe here, because remember I was talking about how I had to sign up for his Patreon using my real email address instead of my WATP email address because he blocked me, my WATP email address. And I speculate, I wonder if he even knows I signed up for his Patreon. Well, we're about to get the answer here.
Right around the same time that Roy decides to sign up for my Patreon again under his actual name instead of his, podcast account, he signs up, and probably, I have to say, within 5 days. But I don't check my Patreon that often or the email that's connected to the Patreon to see what the updates are. So could it have been 5 days? Could it have been 1? Could it have been 3 weeks? I have no idea. All I know is he's the most recent subscriber, and up to this point, I have yet to have a problem with that logo. At all. No
Makes
messages,
sense.
no nothing from anybody. PBS wasn't even aware that I existed or had any reason to fucking check in on what I was doing with something that might be related to their logo. And also, it's called Public Broadcasting Service, isn't it? Doesn't public mean that I should be able to use the logo? That's just that's an argument for another day, and I'm not Jewish.
Pretty good logic, honestly. I like it.
Carl, so what'd you do? You called into the telethon?
Isn't this crazy? So now he's
Ratted him out.
trying to make this connection. Carl signs up.
Right.
I get a cease and desist. It's like trying to, and Tika says you should put some bicycle decals on it. Right. That's the way to get around copyright infringement for sure. So yeah, he's implying that I have something to do with this for some reason.
And then eventually finally using that as my logo. And then Carl signing up for my Patreon. Oh, fuck. Now all of a sudden, my logo is a trademark, infringement, copyright, blah, blah, blah. They're going to take my page, all this different shit. And it's just so funny to me when I'm threatened with stuff like that, because at the end of the day, I don't give a shit. Truly, I didn't take it.
Yeah, but you did take the logo down and swap it out with a new logo.
Whaley finds out you put his logo on your Patreon.
Oh, I'm going to make it available. The old PBS logo. You can download it from my Patreon.
Oh, you piece of shit.
He goes, I don't care. I don't care that they're going to threaten me. But then he made all the changes they asked him to make. So it sounds like he cared enough to do what he had to do to keep his Patreon going. So again, just the cognitive dissonance of Paddy.
He's insane.
Yeah, it's tough to understand.
Who is the Sam guy that's doing a show with him going, this is going great. Let's keep doing this for years.
Let's do another show. Just adding another show.
How have you not listened to this UFC show just to find out what's going on with those
I've
shows?
listened to a couple, years ago, but it was boring.
Okay.
But we might need to talk to Sam and see what his deal is. Now I'm interested. I'll wait for the show to get some legs first, obviously. I'm not trying to sabotage anything. We want to let these creators create. And I was surprised to hear this. I don't think Paddy has ever said this before. Now, Paddy said a lot of things that contradict themselves, so it's possible he did. But this seemed like something new to me.
It's no different than what the fuck this Roy and Carl dude does, where it's like his goal is to sort of take down or destroy people that aren't him.
Not true.
You know what I mean? It's like he might be a fucking pleasant person. I have no idea. I have no
Nope.
clue
Also not
whatsoever.
true.
But
Nope.
the idea that somebody would punch down so heavily that his fans get involved, and then all of a sudden it just makes me hate myself and makes me not want to do this shit and makes me not have fun anymore. Because guys, back when I was doing the 9-minute podcast, sort of the very early days of my podcasting, that was the funnest time I've had podcasting. Up until Do You Party. Everything since then has been just because.
Oh,
I know.
that sucks.
Just going through the motions.
Look what you did.
Just because we were talking about it, he stopped having fun? I liked it when he was having fun. That's what I wanted there to be happening.
Like, that was sort of the hurtful stuff in the beginning that people would say is they're like, oh, what did you film this on? A fucking Nokia or some shit? And I never thought to laugh at that. I just thought, I'm just trying, dude.
Kinda.
Like, do you think I went to college for that shit or something?
Nope.
Obviously not.
Do you think I have any idea what a good camera is?
Nope. We don't think that at all. We don't think you know about
A
headphones.
good
or
camera comes
cameras,
from Five Below.
microphones.
Don't have him there.
But he just said hurtful. People were saying hurtful stuff about his production quality. And how many times have I heard him say he doesn't care? He doesn't care what anybody says. He doesn't give a shit about the haters. But now he's admitting that it was hurtful, and that's too bad. I don't want it to be hurtful. I want you to slap back here.
Yeah.
You want your show to thrive in this environment.
Now I get why he calls himself broken.
Yeah, you're right. Broken skull, broken heart.
It's not just about that 14-year-old child he beat up.
Right. It's not just about that. Cheka Khan asks, who's Roy? That's one of the names he uses for me, which is odd because he uses both my name and Roy.
What does he call Dick again?
Throughout this episode. I don't know now. Now I forgot.
And it's not at this point where I could blame
Richard.
the criticism. You know, you guys can take all the credit you want, pat yourself on the backs, fine. You did a phenomenal job, but you probably killed something that actually might have had real potential. You know what I mean? You really, you sucked the bag dry.
Ugh.
You know?
I don't like the sound of that. That's Lucy Tightbox's job around here. So what he's claiming now is that he was going to be a star. He was going to do great things, and we ruined it.
Yeah, it's not like Carl went and put a pillow over a baby's face. Shut up, Patrick.
I know. He's trying to claim that if it weren't for us goofing on him, he definitely would have been amazing at podcasting by now. But we really thwarted all of that. I don't know how we did that, but he's bummed. He doesn't have the itch anymore.
Because there were so many moments where I could just fucking hit a bull a couple times and I'm fucking off to the races. I got ideas for days. Now it's like I smoke I'll face a joint and have no ideas. Nothing. No creativity. Or have a small spark of an idea, but then also remind myself that the amount of work that goes into it, the payoff, you know, the obviously the criticism, the positivity as well. But you guys know I'm still releasing the Great Job Awesome stuff. I just release it in a different way. I don't have any promotion for it. I don't want my name tied to it at all.
What an asshole. So he's got this stuff coming out. We have no idea where it is, and he won't tell us.
Okay, so what we've learned from this is podcasting is this guy's therapy.
Yeah.
And it's not about people listening. It's about his own fucking need to feel like he's being heard.
Oh, interesting. All right,
so he's putting it out there and like deluding himself into thinking that the people who are hearing it, that there's an audience for it, but they're just not being able to get to it because he has to hide it because of you.
That's very wise of you, Vinny.
Yeah.
I think you're right about that.
That makes a lot of sense.
It does make a lot of sense.
He's constantly changing his reason for doing it at all. The legacy.
Right.
And trying to get money out of it, realizing that's never going to happen.
You could just have a journal, though. Couldn't you just write these things down in a journal?
He loves the media.
They got a lot of those at Five
He
Below.
loves headphones. That's for sure.
That's true. There's not a lot of headphone usage when you're journaling. That's a good point. So he can't get creative. Even though he's smoking all the weed, he still just can't get creative anymore and come up with creative ideas on what to do. And so he starts shaming me, which is pretty funny right here.
You know, Patreon's like, you better resolve this or you're screwed. And it's like the most recent name to have subbed to my $2 tier, mind you. A guy who's used and abused me for years, right? As people say, only wants to give me $2 a month to keep giving him shit to use in his show. That's embarrassing. You're better than that.
All right. All right. He's right. He's right.
KB would have given him a 10.
He's right. I should be paying him more money than that. I think that is kind of insulting. For $2 I can pull. I mean, he only puts up one episode a month, though. So I don't know how much it's really worth, but all right. He's right.
My God, you're
I know.
an asshole.
Now I feel bad. But how many times have we heard him say he doesn't know anything about me, he's never watched my show, doesn't know anything that's going on, and then he drops little things like this.
That's not even enough for a good hamburger, Mr. Hamburger. Make it worth it.
He knows my last name is Hamburger?
Yeah.
Interesting. I think maybe he does know a little bit more about me than he lets on.
I think he's got a PI.
Could be purely coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
He does like burgers. The Baconator.
And then
Did he work at a Wendy's once?
Listen who else gets called out here out of the blue.
You know, same thing with Dr. Steve. That fucking four-eyed son of a bitch ran away quicker than, you know, something fast.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite right there.
Quicker than something fast. What did
same thing.
Four-eyed motherfucker.
Yeah, let's hear that again. That's really good.
That fucking four-eyed son of a bitch ran away quicker than, you know, something fast.
Wow. What did Dr. Steve do to him? Try to help him or something?
Yeah, I think he analyzed him or something like that.
Okay.
Oh, right. Forgot about that.
Yeah, that was a while back, but he remembers. Paddy remembers all about it.
There's 17 episodes of a podcast no one will ever hear all about it, I bet.
It's such a mixed message, though, where he keeps going back and forth on. He must be really difficult to be in a relationship with, I would imagine. Like, he didn't want Dr. Steve talking about him, and now he's calling Dr. Steve out for not talking about him anymore. I'm not sure what he wants here. What happened to Dr. Steve? He used to pay attention to me. Like, yeah, you said you didn't like that. Seems a nice guy.
This is cyclic behavior. We've been here many, many times.
Yeah,
with
it's
him.
true. It's true.
But really what I was getting at is it's like when that subscription came in from Mr. Hamburger, I was like, well, about time. But then sort of immediately after
What an
that, it's
asshole.
like, oh, your whole
This guy
shit's
fucking blocked me. I was trying to give him money years ago, and he blocked me. And I was like, it's about fucking time. So not only do you have to do certain things, he's going to stop you from doing them, but you have to work even harder, even though he doesn't work hard on anything.
More
But
stuff,
then
Joe.
sort of immediately after that, it's like, oh, your whole shit's going to be taken down. And it's like, I make $55 a month
Righteous
doing
buck.
this shit. So even putting this behind the paywall, it's not worth it. None of it is worth it, folks. You have to understand that.
10 pairs of headphones.
It's yeah, I know. $55 will get you some headphones. That is true.
10 pairs of headphones.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's worth it for that. So he's trying to say that right after I signed up, all of a sudden his Patreon was not shut down, but he had to make some changes to it. So he's convinced, Vinny.
Was he not allowed to give out the tote bags?
He's convinced I have something to do with this over here.
But I also am not going to say that they're not not just, Roy himself, but the fan base that he's cultivated. I wouldn't put it past them to do some fucking, just gross shit like this. Not only get my free water show taken off of Spotify, but then proceed to try to get my Patreon taken away.
No one's doing these things.
Who got his show taken off of Spotify?
That's when he threw a fit and ran away from podcasting. Spotify took down his show for some reason. Free water. I don't know why. I don't know what happened with that. It doesn't make any sense to me. He wasn't doing anything that you would take it down for. That I know. I mean, I listened to a lot of his stuff. I never heard anything, so I'm not sure what happened. He probably screwed up the feed and deleted it. He probably deleted it. Actually, you know how he is. He throws these temper tantrums. He probably deleted everything and then regretted it the next day.
Yeah.
And
Spotify.
yeah. So then he was all butthurt about it. But listen, we observe and report. No one's trying to take your stuff down, Paddy. We want you to keep creating. I've always said that. We only want you creating stuff. We don't want to fuck with people.
All I was doing was making a connection that, like, hey, the newest name to join my Patreon for the newest $2 tier, is my mortal enemy number one. And he goes and fucking reports. He would. That's the other thing too, is that I wouldn't put it past them to know how to get somebody in trouble for copyright shit. I would not put it past you to have that knowledge. Didn't you work for E-Bombs World or some shit?
Whoa.
Like, it just makes sense. Like, if you don't know how to, somebody that, works with you in your basement does, or one of your stupid fucking fans.
Don't look at me.
Hold on. Are you guys? Yeah, it's definitely not Chris. Are you hearing what's going on right now?
Yeah.
He knows I worked at E-Bombs World. He knows that I'm in my basement. All of a sudden, he has all this knowledge out of nowhere.
But, Paddy, if you know so much about this show and about Carl or Roy,
Stop on by.
if that is his real name,
It's not.
then you know that that's not his style.
No. I'd never tell anyone to copyright strike anything. I would never do that.
We've tried to help you out several times.
I don't even like PBS. They can suck a dick as far as I'm concerned. I would not be on their team.
Yeah, PBS Kids Blue.
Yeah, it sucks.
And that's how we got a cease and desist.
I'm on your side in this one.
So can I just
Paddy.
say this to you, Paddy? If you have this much of a beef with Carl and you think that he did this and he turned you into to the bigwigs at PBS, come on the show and fucking call him out for
Oh,
it.
he'll never do that. He said
I
that
know
in
he
this
won't.
episode. He's like, I bet they want me on their show. I'm like, you're on my show. Whether you like it or not, you're on the show.
Dude, you're
Paddy.
over there making accusations and somebody did something. Fucking say it to their face, Patrick.
It is funny that this happened right after I signed up for his Patreon. So he's just like, fucking Carl ratting me out. What I'm going to do after this, I'm going to up my contributions and I'm going to send him a note and
Make
just
it right.
say, just so you know, Paddy, no one here is copyright striking anyone. No one's trying to get your shows taken down. I'm going to give him a pep talk.
Yeah, we want more content.
Oh, he's going to respond wonderfully to that. What an open door that's going to create.
That's why I never try to communicate with him directly, because it's impossible.
His kid's going to get punched if you send him a note.
Yo.
All right, one more clip on here. I just thought this was funny because this is a Patreon episode. All the Pukewater episodes are only on Patreon. You have to be behind the paywall in order to hear them. And listen to what he does at the end of the show.
So, check out the Patreon, please. I changed the name. It is no longer Paddy Culture. It's patreon.com/thatdudethatscreams, because I definitely do a lot more than that than I do podcasting. But please support, guys. Best you can. Tell your friends. I don't even know why I say any of this shit. Most of you don't listen to the entire episode anyways. I'm done, man. See ya.
Please support us on Patreon. He says on his Patreon. Yeah, that's how we're hearing this.
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah, we got it. It's weird. And then, of course, he loses all confidence at the end and just, you guys, no one's even listening to this anyway. No one's hearing this. Now they are, Paddy.
Bye, Roy.
Don't you worry. I'll up my bid. He made me feel bad. He definitely shamed me into that.
He has admitted to smoking terrible weed before. Mm-hmm. I think this is him coming down from that joint.
Oh, maybe.
It's the end of his show. He's got no confidence left.
Yeah, because at the beginning of the show, he was fired up, remember? Yeah. And he was excited about this new collab he had with the music and his new bicycle, and he was riding around getting fresh air.
Yeah,
he's got shocks
on it.
A
lot of comments on that.
Yeah, handlebars. He's all excited about all this stuff, and then by the end, he's just like, and Carl's a dick, and they just want to ruin my life.
And he's reminding the patrons to support him.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Who are these podcasts? WA